My name is Sophie Harris, and I live in a small, historic house in Savannah, Georgia. I've always had a soft spot for the past, a love for things with a story. My home is filled with antiques, each piece a whisper from another time, but my greatest passion has always been dolls. There's something about their silent, painted faces that has always fascinated me. They're like little time capsules, capturing a moment, a fashion, an expression forever. One sun-drenched Saturday, I was browsing a local estate sale, the air thick with the scent of old wood and forgotten perfume. That's where I saw her. Tucked away on a dusty shelf, almost hidden behind a stack of yellowed books, was an old porcelain doll. She was beautiful, in a haunting sort of way. Her dress was faded lace, her hair a cascade of dark, synthetic curls. But it was her eyes that truly captured me. They were a deep, unsettling green, glossy and almost liquid, as if they held secrets I couldn't possibly imagine. I felt an immediate, inexplicable pull. I had to have her. I brought the doll home and gave her a place of honor on a high shelf in my bedroom, nestled between a collection of antique novels. She looked perfect there, a silent guardian watching over my room. The first night, everything was peaceful. The house settled with its usual creaks and groans, and I slept soundly, dreaming of nothing in particular. I woke up the next morning feeling refreshed, glancing up at the doll and smiling at my new acquisition. But by the second night, things began to feel different. I woke up needing a glass of water, and as my feet touched the cool wooden floor, I felt a prickle on the back of my neck. I looked up at the shelf. The doll was still there, of course, but her eyes, they seemed to have moved. It wasn't just a trick of the light or a shadow shifting. It was a slow, deliberate tracking. They followed me as I walked to the door, unblinking. I froze for a second, my heart skipping a beat. Then I laughed it off. "You're being ridiculous, Sophie," I told myself. It was late. I was tired. It was just my imagination running wild in the quiet of the night. I got my water and went back to bed, forcing myself to ignore the feeling of being watched. The third night, the atmosphere in my room had changed. The air felt heavier, charged with a strange energy. I fell into an uneasy sleep, tossing and turning. I was jolted awake sometime after midnight by a sound. Whispers, they were faint, soft but urgent, like secrets being shared just beyond the edge of hearing. I sat bolt upright, straining to listen. The house was silent, but the whispers lingered in my mind. My eyes darted around the dark room, and that's when I saw it. The doll was no longer on the shelf. My blood ran cold. She was on the floor, in the middle of the room. She was facing the far corner, her back to me. But as my eyes adjusted to the dim light filtering through the window, I saw her head was turned slightly over her shoulder. Her green glossy eyes were still fixed on me. I didn't touch her. I didn't even breathe. I just stared, my body paralyzed by a fear so profound it felt like ice spreading through my veins. Then I heard it again, clearer this time. A single word, whispered from the corner where the doll was now facing. My name, Sophie. It was soft, breathless, a sound that didn't belong in my room, in my house. My heart was pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. I squeezed my eyes shut for just a second, a desperate silent plea for this to be a nightmare. When I opened them again, she was closer. She was sitting on my nightstand, inches from my head, her porcelain face tilted, those terrible green eyes still locked on mine. Suddenly, with a deafening crash, my bedroom door slammed shut, plunging the room into absolute darkness. The silence that followed was even more terrifying than the noise. The whispers started again, but this time they weren't just whispers. They were giggles, the high-pitched, innocent sound of a child's laughter, twisted into something malevolent and chilling. Then I felt it, a cold touch, like icy fingers, brushing against my arm. I flinched, pulling away, but when I looked, there was nothing there, just darkness, and the doll. In the faint moonlight, I could just make out her painted lips. They were curved into a faint, knowing grin. I don't know how I survived that night. I must have passed out from sheer terror. When I woke up, sunlight was streaming into the room, the door was open, and the doll was gone from the nightstand. A wave of frantic energy washed over me. I tore my room apart, searching everywhere. I checked under the bed, in the closet, behind the curtains. Nothing. I searched the entire house, my panic growing with every empty room. I looked in the living room, the kitchen, even the bathroom. She was gone. Hours later, after I had nearly given up hope, a thought struck me. The attic, I rarely ever went up there. With a sense of dread, I pulled down the rickety ladder and climbed into the dusty, suffocating heat. And there she was, sitting serenely on an old rocking chair that hadn't been touched in years. The chair was swaying gently, back and forth, all on its own. Her green eyes gleamed in the single shaft of light from a grimy window. And then I saw it. Etched into the dusty wooden floorboards beneath the rocking chair were letters, crudely scratched as if by a sharp nail. The letters formed words I didn't recognize, but below them, in clear, unmistakable English, was a single, terrifying sentence. I watch you always. I ran. I scrambled down the ladder, slammed the attic hatch shut, and haven't gone back up since. I couldn't bring myself to get rid of the doll. The thought of touching her again, of carrying her out of my house, filled me with a primal fear I couldn't overcome, so she stays. I don't sleep with the lights off anymore. Every lamp in my room burns through the night, a fragile defense against the shadows, but it doesn't stop the sounds. Every night, I swear I can hear them. Tiny, furtive footsteps, pattering around the house, the soft creak of a floorboard outside my door, the faint sound of a rocking chair swaying in the attic above. The doll is never where I left it the day before. Sometimes I find her in the living room, staring at the family photos on the mantel. Other times, she's in the kitchen, sitting on the counter. But no matter where she is, I can always feel them. Those green, glossy eyes, watching, following me, waiting. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had a creepy experience with an antique, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.